welcome back once again right here at Tech Stage. As we have many of available hot seats, then please feel free to come, gather around, have a seat, enjoy the session that are going to delivered by the like our distinguished speakers are going to share their latest innovation, technology, and solutions that can help for your organization. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are at CyberSec Asia 2025, and together with Thailand International Cyber Week 2025. In this afternoon session, we have the topic that our speaker are going to talk about multifaceted defense. For those who would like to know about this, please feel free to come and have a seat right in front of the stage. Which today we have an honor to welcome Partner Sales Manager Asia from TEHTRIS. Could you please give a big round of applause to welcome Mr. Ivan Lowe.
Hi everyone, Sawadee Krap. Have you guys had your lunch yet? Have everybody eaten? That's a very Asian thing that we do, right? Have you eaten yet, right? And we want to know how good are you, how well are you? So I hope everybody had a good lunch. I'm going to talk a little bit about multifaceted defense from TEHTRIS' point of view, right? Coming from TEHTRIS. So my name is Ivan. My role in TEHTRIS is a partner sales manager, right? But I would say that I always joke with my friends that I'm working at TEHTRIS, and my main role is to play the game Tetris. So if you ever remember us on what we do, we are TEHTRIS, a French company, and we actually provide you with different building blocks that you can add to your defense solutions. So let me quickly run through with you guys on my slides. One of the things that we always talk about is that there's really different types of attacks and different types of attacks that happen from way before, right? You can see here in these two AI-generated images that you have someone that's attacking you from a very stealthy perspective, right? So it could be a individual, it could be someone hiding within your systems, but in this case, this person is hiding within your castle, right? And you can also be attacked from a very large army point of view. So someone coming in out from the outside, just smashing down your doors, right? So these kind of things happen from a very long time ago. And as defenses starts to improve, starts to evolve, right? The traditional thinking of building around walls, around your castle, and then they evolve it with multi-layer of defenses, your moat, your inner wall, outer wall, and so on and so forth. And then it starts to add in things like a little bit of offensive defense kind of thing. So they started building like large catapults, large ballistas that on the castle itself is hitting out at the defenses. So these things keep changing, right? But the key idea behind it has always been, how do you counter these attacks? How do you counter attacks that comes to you? And I think as kids, we all play rock, paper, scissors to some extent. And also, right, these kind of games that we play started to evolve as well. It's quite amazing that you can actually have 3 different sets, and then you move on to 5 different types, and then you get this multitude of attacks and defenses just by using your hands. So this is the kind of evolving attacks that we see all the time, evolving ways of countering the attacks that we see all the time. And as we start evolving in cybersecurity as well, we know that there are many more attacks that happen on a day-to-day basis. We know that there is AI generative attacks that are also hitting us, and also the large surface areas that we have all the time. And this thing keeps growing and growing, just like our rock, paper, scissors grows and makes it a lot more complicated to counter. Defenses are also a lot more difficult to counter. And the traditional thinking of having that castle that we built around it is just not enough anymore, right? So there are many areas on a multifaceted defense that you can think of. But from TEHTRIS perspective, we have our platform. So we create our platform that has all these things that you see on the screen. But the objective here that we try to always achieve is we always try to achieve hyper automation. Okay, so the objective here is because of so many attacks that happens all the time, and our SOC analysts being really overwhelmed, that if we can hyper automate or automate as many things as we can, it helps makes things faster. And from a traditional security thought process, the faster we close the window of opportunity on the hacker, the lower the chance of us losing something critical to us, or losing data that's critical to us, right? So that's where we come from. So our platform, running very quickly on what we do, we have a platform that has all the things that you see on the top, all the things that you see on the top here, right? As part of the base offering that we have, and that base offering is going to stack on with the different modules that you add on. So remembering the game Tetris, right? We actually have all these building blocks, and the objective of the game is to have the building blocks rotated, dropped, filled up a space for us to clear a line. So we sometimes wish for certain blocks to come out because it makes us easier for us to have that missing piece that we need. So with TEHTRIS, right, what we do is that we build this AI platform, and we then have the different blocks based on the needs that you have. And you can just look at using those needs and adding it on. The other area that we try to achieve, and we have recently done it in 2024, was to provide a combination of deployment options as well. Because many different customers have different requirements. Again, the blocks that you need might be different from your counterpart, might be different in different industries. So we actually have the different building blocks that you need as well. So one of the modules that we do is actually a network traffic analyzer. And I think this is something which you guys have probably heard of in many other different solutions out there. We are not new in this space. We are not new to having a network traffic analyzer. But to get an idea of a concept, right? Actually, a network traffic analyzer is something that has been around for a really long time. If I were to think about it as I'm sniffing onto network traffic and back to defenses and attacks, right? That these guys here that you see, they are actually in the previous wars, right? They are listening in to communications by the enemies, and they are doing a decryption. So obviously, in a network traffic analyzer, you need to decrypt the traffic because most of it is encrypted anyway. You need to decrypt the traffic, get the messaging, in our case, network packets, and then sending it back to intelligence for them to make use of it, right? So this is, again, not a new concept, but it's been around for a long time. And we also provide honeypots. So what are honeypots, right? Honeypots are fake servers, decoys that we talk about, and can be used to a certain extent for deceptive response. And for this type of solutions and scenarios, again, it's not something that is new. In the military, they use it for fake targets, fake assets that will buy them time, look at where the attacks are coming from, what kind of attacks are happening to these targets, right? How are they finding out about these targets? So that's how we use honeypots as well, right? We use honeypots to identify where attackers are coming from, what they are doing. And in TEHTRIS environment, it's all fully integrated. So we have our honeypots collecting all these attacks that we see, automatically converting them, and using them as additional localized threat intel that we can perform and deploy within each customer environment, and automatically feed them to the mitigation components that we have. The next thing that we do have is we need some form of log management, some form of SIEM, and that's very critical in today's XDR type solution space. it paints you a much better picture, a more complete picture when you do any form of incident response or if you do any form of investigation. So this is something that we carry in as well. Again, I would like to say that it is again not something new. We have that in some of our offices maybe. In my office or my desk, it's extremely messy as well. But we always want to categorize it, collect it, file it, standardize our indexes, and then be able to locate and find information that we need very quickly, right? But also being able to paint it together. So if you have like a case ID, you want to piece everything in together, and that's exactly what happens on a manual process as well. Last but not least, TEHTRIS also has our EDR modules. And a little bit different about our EDR modules is that we are able to cover most of the operating system out there. We have an EDR module that obviously covers your standard operating systems like your Windows, your Mac, your Linuxes and Unixes. And it's of course backward compatible. But we also cover MTD or mobile threat defense. And what our partners actually term it, and this was quite interesting, I never thought of it that way, but our partners actually told me that our mobile threat defense is like an EDR for mobile because we can do a certain level of detection, protection, and response. And our EDR, our MTD, our mobile threat defense, also comes built in with DNS firewalls that we integrate directly to our threat intel data feed as well. So one of the very interesting things that's happening, we start reading a lot about in last year, considering now we're beginning of 2025, is about phishing attacks, right? So there's a huge rise in use of QR codes. And in my travels in Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, we see a lot of cases where when someone wants to order something, you scan a QR code. The QR code is scanned on the table, and the QR code then brings you to a URL, right? Just going to the ordering system. But if someone sticks the QR code or their QR code on top of the table once, the traditional guys may not observe it, may not know that it's there, or the daily users might not be aware. They scan it, it brings them to a URL, and then you get a drive-by malware, and you get all that hits, right? So what's available is, in our case, when you scan the QR code, it resolves to a URL, right? So the URL, through an IP address, talks to the DNS firewall, and then the DNS firewall, through the integration to the threat intel, tells you that it's a bad URL. And then what we will do is we'll send a message down to the mobile phone telling them that they're accessing a malicious site, and we'll prevent them from accessing that site. So we stop that attack in the beginning. So that's something that we can do as well. Now, also back to a very old way of the EDR perspective, if you want to isolate the device, you can as well. But now we can do it on the mobile phone also. So if we see that a mobile phone has been jailbroken or has been attacked, has been hit with a malicious app, what we can do through an automated feature and function, be able to isolate the mobile phone from its data sources. But the mobile users can still use the phone for its telephone calls. It's just that we isolate the phone from a database, data type connection, all right? So obviously, what we try to do and achieve was basically to have a very good QA type scenario, checking through every individual cookies. Using the term cookies kind of complicate matters with the web stuff, right? But basically, the idea was to check through every single piece, right? Ensuring that we are able to protect every single endpoint, including your mobile solutions as well. So for TEHTRIS, what we try to do is to create a unique and complete XDR AI-based platform. Our AI portion of it is actually developed in-house. And we have all these features and functions on our AI for the different modules that we have. We're happy that we're going to talk more about this with you guys at our booth. So please drop by. And of course, to tie everything together as part of the hyper-automation perspective, we have to have a built-in native saw within our platform to automate all these responses that we have. Therefore, protecting you in a very quick way, very quick fashion, with hyper-automation and closing the window of opportunity on the attacker very, very quickly. Okay, so I've done a very quick prezzo. I'm happy to talk a lot more with you guys. If you have time, please drop by our booth. It's the D20. It's right at that side in front of the Israeli Pavilion. So happy to see you guys. I'll catch you guys there. And also one thing to announce, if you guys drop over, we also have a lucky draw going on for La Pupu, which is a very popular thing right now. We only have the V2 version, but come by, submit your names, we'll do the lucky draw. Thank you guys.
ขอบคุณค่ะ Thank you very much. Thank you once again, Mr. Ivan. ขอบคุณค่ะ for your excellent presentation and the knowledge and the solution that you have shared to us. Again, do not forget to visit them at the booth and receive some of the special prizes นะสำหรับช่วงนี้นะคะทุกท่านก็สามารถที่จะทำการสแกน QR code ที่บนหน้าจอค่ะ so this is a conference survey that everybody can help us to evaluate our event for the improvement of the future event that we are going to host for the next year of CyberSec Asia and Thailand International Cyber Week สำหรับนะคะในช่วงนี้เมื่อสักครู่นะคะทางด้านของคุณไอเวนเองนะคะจากทาง TEHTRIS ค่ะก็ได้พูดถึงนะคะเรื่องของตัว MultiFaceted Defense นะคะซึ่งนะคะถ้าเกิดว่าพูดถึง TEHTRIS นะคะก็ถือว่าเป็นผู้เชี่ยวชาญในเรื่องของการป้องกันการโจมตีทางไซเบอร์โดยใช้เทคโนโลยี AI ในการตรวจจับแล้วก็ตอบสนองต่อการโจมตีนะคะแบบอัตโนมัติได้มีการนำเสนอนะคะสำหรับตัวของผลิตภัณฑ์หลักนะคะโซลูชันหลักนั่นคือ TEHTRIS XDR Platform นะคะก็จะช่วยตรวจจับนะแล้วก็ป้องกันการโจมตีแบบ real time นะคะนี้ก็จะเป็นการ detect แล้วก็ตรวจจับได้อย่างทันท่วงทีทำให้องค์กรเนี่ยไม่เกิดความเสียหายอย่างร้ายแรงนะคะรวมไปถึงแล้วเนี่ยทางด้านของการป้องกันนะคะแบบหลายมิติก็จะเป็นกลยุทธ์นะคะที่มีหลายวิธีในการที่จะป้องกันแบบหลายชั้นนะคะเพื่อที่จะทำให้มีประสิทธิภาพเพิ่มเติมมากยิ่งขึ้นเพราะฉะนั้นยังไงสามารถไปสอบถามรายละเอียดเพิ่มเติมนะที่บูธแล้วก็อาจจะมีรางวัลนะคะที่คุณจะได้รับกลับไปด้วยเขาบอกว่ามีแจกลาบูบูที่บูธด้วยก็ลองไปเยี่ยมชมแล้วก็ร่วมกิจกรรมกันได้แต่ว่าสำหรับเซสชั่นถัดไปนะคะเดี๋ยวจะเริ่มต้นในช่วงเวลา 14:30 นาทีนะคะสำหรับเซสชั่นนะคะที่เราจะมาพูดถึงการเกี่ยวกับเรื่องของ securing the skies นะคะใครที่สนใจนะหัวข้อตามนี้เลยด้านบนเวทีก็สามารถมานั่งยังบริเวณโซนของTech Stage นะคะในช่วงเวลา 14:30 นาทีค่ะ so now we will have a little short break for now which is we will continue to the next session at 2:30. For those who would like to hear and know more about the topic of securing the skies, risk-based cyber assessments of commercial airplanes, please feel free. You are all invited. We still have many of free seats here at the tech stage that are available for all of you, and you are all welcome. The next session will start in 10 minutes. So right now, please enjoy your time and have a seat. I will be back here shortly for the next session. ขอบคุณค่ะ